Dad's 2008 Honda Jazz Sport, a car that in my opinion is a fantastic little car. It's reasonably powerful, nice to drive, and practical. While similar, my mum's Fit really doesn't compare, and unfortunately this is the version of the Jazz that most of the world gets, hence why they don't understand when I say the Jazz Sport is an awesome car. Even though this car may not be fast, it does still retain that last part, practicality. When my mum got this car, she just wanted something that would get her around, and this is reflected in the styling. Compared to the subtle aggression that you get with the Jazz Sport, this looks like any other boring hatchback. The aggression really is limited to my fake exhaust tip I made in a video last month. The Fit lacks fog lights, spoilers, side skirts, and the aluminium wheels you get on the Sport. In its place, you get basic styling and 14-inch steel wheels with hubcaps. The engine is an L13A 1339cc fuel-injected inline 4. Like with the Jazz Sport, it does have VTEC, and every now and then you hear a slight change in engine note, but it doesn't have any real effect in terms of acceleration. It makes 101 horsepower and 127 Nm of torque, and it revs to 6,500 RPM. As with the Sport, this car is front-wheel drive, but spinning the wheels is near on impossible because of the CVT transmission. It really isn't designed for fun at all, and almost all modern hatchbacks suffer from the CVT bug. Flooring a Jazz Sport is a joy as you rev it out and hit VTEC yo, but in this it just sounds like the engine is screaming at you. Like with the Jazz Sport, the fuel tank is under the front seats, resulting in space under the rear seats which is big enough for things, and the seats fold down, creating a totally flat load bay. Rear seat space is good compared to the Mazda 2 and Toyota Yaris from this era, but getting comfortable in the front seats is harder than some cars because the seat doesn't move up and down and the steering wheel doesn't telescope either, both of which are features you get on the Jazz Sport. However, one redeeming feature on all Fits and Jazzes is that the seats don't split right down the middle, so you can have one seat down to increase boot space and still get 4 people inside. Where the Fit shines ahead of the Jazz though is in the technology department. While it doesn't have electronic climate control, it has Bluetooth audio and hands-free phone, satellite navigation, and even the ability to play movies in the car, all features the Jazz Sport has to live without. That said, for some reason, JDM spec Fits only come with front speakers, which means backseat passengers don't always get the complete sound experience. However, none of these features are controllable on the steering wheel, which can make adjusting things a bit difficult while on the go. The gauges are almost identical to the Jazz Sport, only there is a speed governor that cuts in at 180 km an hour, hence why the speedometer looks different. The centre screen displays readouts like your fuel economy, range, trip distance and odometer. So there we are, that's what everyone outside of New Zealand knows as the Honda Fit. While it may not be as good performance and appearance wise when compared to a New Zealand new Jazz, you cannot deny the fact that they represent incredible value for money. Both my mum and dad's cars are worth about the same, even though my dad's car is 2 years older and has done over 100,000 kilometres more. For a simple, uncomplicated little city runabout, this Fit is a pretty good car. Now though, let's take it for a drive.
Whoop. Rightio. Here we are, driving the Honda Fit, the Jap import version of that car right there. So, driving characteristics, well, they are somewhat similar to the Jazz Sport. However, the noticeable differences really is the suspension quality. Dad's car is set up to be a bit more solid, a bit more firm, so it handles nicely. This car, yeah, Dad's car doesn't do that. It doesn't rock violently on the coil springs in the same way that this car does. I will admit, hearing it now as we go up this hill, there is one fundamental problem with this car, and that is the noise. That noise is pretty much constant. whenever you're going up hills. It's quite droney, quite noisy, quite unpleasant to listen to, and you floor it and then you get that noise, and it's just not, you know, I said earlier on that the engine sounds like it's kind of screaming at you, and that's what I mean. Dad's car, you rev it out and it makes good noise, and you know, just as it's starting to get a bit unbearable, you pull the pedal and then it's all good again. This, it gets to the unbearable stage and then it kind of stays there, unfortunately. The reality is, in terms of, you know, driving it fast, not the most fun thing in the world. I was about to say funnest, but funnest is not a word. I learned that in primary school a very long time ago. You know, in terms of general driving, the ride comfort is acceptable. The heater is blowing quite nicely now on this very cold and miserable day. It's the same day, in fact, that I was, it was earlier this morning when I recorded the driving section of my Suzuki UZ50 review. And if you haven't checked that out already, go and check it out. Appreciate it. Traffic and roadworks. Fun. Woo! Love them. Traffic and roadworks put together. Best combination ever. Gotta love it. So yeah, general driving, it works very well, very effectively. You got a choice of drive, sport, and low. I tend to put it in low if I need instant power, because well, I'll put it in drive. Drive is the worst for throttle response. Sport is kind of getting there, and low is a bit better. It's not set up for quick throttle response, but I'll just give you a quick demonstration here, and I am going to floor it now. And you can see there was quite a delay before any sort of noticeable amount of power comes on. If I do slow it down and put it in sport, or S, I just call it S because it's not really sport, and I floor it now, you can see it's quite a lot more responsive. And then you do the same with low, and it's gonna bring the revs up a little bit low. I'm flooring it now, and it's just, you know, it's straight away onto it. That's good. It's good to give you that option to have faster throttle response. Now, the one complaint I have with this, and the issue I have with all CVTs, is that they have zero engine braking, none whatsoever. You might as well be in neutral. So I'm cruising along, I'm not touching the brake or the throttle, and I'm just getting closer and closer and closer to this car here, and this is not even a very steep hill. Whereas that car there, it's got lights on, but it's not even touching the brakes, and it's going slower than me, probably because it's a traditional auto as opposed to a CVT like this one. So, you know, CVTs, great for fuel economy. Let's have a look and see. 13 kilometers to the litre average, which is pretty good for just general driving. And I'm about to test out the cheeky acceleration here. We got a truck coming, no cars, and yeet! Oh yes, feel the power. That's 50, 60, 70, and slowing it down as we move out into the line of traffic. So there we are. You know, not as fast as my dad's Jazz Sport, not as pleasant to listen to, but it will accelerate at request. And really, that's kind of everything with this car, to be honest. If you want to go around a corner quickly, it will at your request. It may not do it very well, but it will do it. And likewise, you know, acceleration, braking, all these things. Let's test the braking here. Slam on the brakes, and now, and it locks up because it doesn't have ABS, but that's all right. It, you know, it will stop if you slam on the brakes. It will stop if you slam on the accelerator. It will accelerate. And if you yank the steering wheel, it will go around the corner with a lot of tire squeal. But it will do all of these things, and that's really the essence of it. So there we are. Thank you very much for watching this review of my mum's lovely 1.3 litre Honda Fit. And with that, I will say goodbye and see you later.